Hello there folks and welcome to the stream. My name is Mike D'Angelo, aka That Tellest Guy. We are going to be resuming our work on the Graveyard Fissure map today and probably just wrapping it up relatively quickly. I don't think that there's a lot that we have to do because we do have quite a few points of interest on this map at this point, and we're just going to kind of put some finishing touches on it, stuff like that. You can see I did a little bit of work off stream between yesterday's stream and today. Put a couple more flowers down, changed up a couple of the tombstones just so that it looks a little bit more varied. I didn't want to have all exactly the same style or anything, and they have a decent amount, so figured that made a little bit of sense. I don't think that we had the statues there yesterday, so I put them there. Put another tree down, put another tree over here just so that everything was mixed together really nicely. And I also noticed that the hills were facing the wrong side. The hills are very tricky when it comes to the Inkarnate stuff, so I figured I would fix that. And again, I think most of the map is done. We just need to kind of do a little bit more like flocking and stuff like that in order to kind of bring it all together. So let's go into our stamps and see what we got. I don't think the first thing I want to do is get some more plants in there, and I don't think that the graveyard set itself has any plants. So we're going to go to maybe our core. Where is that stuff? Is it forest? I don't think we're going to do flowers or anything like that, but we may go the route where we have, you know, like these forest floor plants and maybe the ferns. Yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll kind of just dial back the intensity of the color to make it look, again, a little bit more dreary. I feel like that's what we're going for. So let's do something like this. We'll put it so that it kind of builds up next to the fence but doesn't actually overtake it. And since we have that little side bit there, we'll do that as well. And let's dial back the saturation a smidge. A nice round number like 64. Keep it going. Big boy over here. Maybe we'll put this next to one of our trees. The problem with that is I kind of wanted it over the roots, and that's not going to work the way that I want it to. We'll just put it over there instead. Some of these is huge, and I don't want them to be like that. Keep some stuff away from there, but not entirely. Let's do some stuff on the outside of the fence as well. Maybe we'll do something around the rocks. Do some stuff up this way. And let's go and get some other plants in the meantime. Get some of those ferns. Just dropping that down first so that we can see something that we can drop it down to. Oh, there we go. This one we'll have on the opposite side. Again, it's not going to grow that tall, so we're going to keep it down a little bit. Stuff over there. Let's go. Oh. Someday I'm going to have a faster computer. Oh, man. I have to be like so deliberate about all that. All right, we're going to go back to our terrain, and we're going to grab some smaller rocks. I want some sharp rocks. trying to make it look a little bit more lively. Give it a richer texture here and there. Let's do a couple of rocks in this area too. 35 changes. We'll hit save. And let me think. What else could we put in here just to make it pop a little bit? I'll ruminate while I sip some water. All right. What else do we got in the... Let's look at the terrain set and see if there's anything that kind of pops out at us there. Not really. I don't want to go too crazy with rocks and stones and stuff like that. We've already got a decent amount of flocking. I don't want to call it just yet. Let's see what we got in here. So we have that kind of little swath of brown that we have there, which I think was some of this red. So maybe we can do like another streak of that here and there. Maybe we can do it along the fence. Kind of gives it that little muddier look. Maybe we can do something similar around where this horse is running up. Makes it look a little swampier. And we're going to do some variants, but I don't think we're going to do the variants on stream this time around. This will be a nice little surprise for people later. We've got like 5 minutes before we drop over to our sponsor spot. So let's see if there's some other things that we can do, maybe from like the forest set. So we got some vines, some thorny vines and stuff. Maybe we could do something like that. It's going to be tricky. I'm actually surprised that at 30 that's that big. And that's tricky because, well, you know what? I'm sure we've got a couple of different options. So let's go. Let's delete that real quick. What did I delete? All right. We're going to go back in and see. Yeah, I feel like that's too big for 30. I want that to be a little bit smaller. Because as I turn it, I don't want it to go over the fence. Oh, God. We'll just have another one that's coming over this way. And we've got those other little guys that we can use to go over top of this particular tombstone. There's no way. What is going on here? And it's going over. So what we're going to do is mess with the transformation a little bit. Squeeze that together a smidge, and then let's grab the other one. We'll seriously wrap up this guy. Same thing, we're going to screw with the height a little bit, and there we go. That poor tombstone is all a mess. And let's do a couple of stalks, I guess, around the fence over here. And this one we can leave on top of the fence, if we were able to. Yep. On top of the fence, beneath the tree. We'll do the same thing over here, I guess. Nope, not that one. But this one's okay. It almost looks like a spider web. Just a little bit too awkward. So I'm going to try and see if we can mess with the width. Kind of squish that down a little bit. And that way it'll be over top of the fence, but not kind of pass over where it is. Something like that. And let's do another. We'll get one of these little guys. And that way it looks like it's growing towards that. All right, let's do this. We're going to hit save. We're going to call it on this map for now. If I have any ideas later, I'll throw it in there. But for now, this is pretty good. It feels more boring than it is because of the color patterns and everything like that. But all right, let's go over to our sponsors real quick. And now, a word from our sponsors. Eager to show that you can write an excellent book without following too closely to established tropes, new author Albert T. Franklin turns readers into fans with his debut, Searching for Zen, A Tale of Divine Destiny. Join Zen, a boy with an incredible gift who is bound to shape the form of humanity for ages to come. Franklin weaves a captivating story around this powerful being and endears Zen to many people who are integral to his life. A fellowship is created that will be one for the ages and one that readers will love to root for. If you're looking for an uplifting fantasy that outshines the darkness, look no further. Check out our promo for Searching for Zen, A Tale of Divine Destiny on the Tellest website today. I made one more little change and I'm saving it, so I thought I was going to be able to time it out a little better. I just have the secret message to myself hidden there that's just letting me know where those stairs are going to be, because it's not going to be on the actual map. It'll be on a variant of some sort. But I'll tell you what, we are officially finished with this as far as we're concerned for today. So let's go and do our celebration sound. It would help if I had my audio up. Woody woo indeed, misery. All right, so let's do this. We're going to step out of here and then, excuse me, I am going to head into a map that was not done by me. This was done by, I'm going to have to figure out who the person, Island Row. No, I'm sorry, Island Row was the name of the map. This was Master Milf. Of Melf's maps. So I wanted to kind of get a good idea of what they did for this, because I wanted to make a kind of like treetop village for elves and like fae folk and stuff like that. So I used this as kind of like a testing ground. Sometimes you have other people who have their maps shared out, sometimes they don't. And in this case, there were so many cool things that Master Melf was doing that I really wanted to kind of get a good idea of how they were doing it. So I used this as kind of my testing ground to see if I could take some of the lessons that they were imparting and use them on my own maps later. So one of the things that you can see is we've got kind of a boxy look here, and we've got stuff that's coming out of it. So what I did was, there was kind of 4 things that I really wanted to nail down. I wanted to figure out how they were doing the steps here that looked pretty decent. I wanted to see how they were doing the actual landing. I wanted to see how they were doing this path through the woods. And then the most important one, I think, was their elevator. Because in one of my books, there is a citadel that we've talked about a couple of times, I think, at this point on Talking Tellest, Siphenadil, which is like an elven citadel, and also the name of the forest that the citadel is found in. And they have an elevator. Theirs is built inside a tree, and I thought that was probably going to be a little bit too difficult to do with the skill set that I currently have. We might do a variation of that later, but their elevator here I thought looked really nice, so we were going to kind of take the techniques and then learn from them. So what you can see here is, where is their scene? So this was their original scene, and if I take it apart, you can see that's what we're left with. So we have these pieces here that we're kind of learning from, and if we throw it back, you can see everything kind of falls into place really nice. So we've also locked some things in place, so I can take the individual components and mess with the opacity there, just to kind of see, you know, what was done in so many ways. So mine is laying on top, so it doesn't have the trees to provide the shadow or anything like that, but it fits in pretty nice. So you've got that as our stairs testing, so let's take that out. We've got the wooded walkway, and that's where you can see the other trees that are coming through and things like that. So I just did a real quick and dirty kind of variant of what they had, just to, again, see if I was able to replicate it and make it look adequate if I was going to do this on my own. So we'll take this piece out, move that over there. The walkable treetop tables, I think this was just our, it would help if I had the opacity up. So this is just a series of shamrock tables from the Fae set. If you throw that into place and put the opacity up, again, you can very much see how it kind of fits into place in a nice style. And then, excuse me, the last piece was the elevator. There was a little bit of this that I was seeing, like, I didn't even know that these pieces existed before. I thought that when they were putting this together that they were doing some kind of amazing craft where they were using like a millstone that would have looked like this, and then painstakingly putting together clipping masks and just being real smart about it. That was how impressed I was with Master Melf's map, and I thought that he was just doing all of this in that style. And there should be one more. Oh, so I actually just, this is not grouped, but this is a couple of different components. So we've got that same kind of like wooden mechanism here. So you can take that apart, and you can see that what this is really doing is it's hiding a steampunk crane. So the various pieces of this mechanism, they're in play to hide this crane. And then the rope is just laid on top at the end. And then this is just another shamrock table way down here. They have it going even crazier because they've got a filter that's going on. I think I have one as well. So we were doing some testing over here. What you can do is you just drop it to your lowest layer, and everything above that layer will not be affected by it. Now, right now, the port that you see is on the same layer. So if I bring that up, it's no longer affected. So the entire map that Master Melf has isn't affected by this filter that you see over here. And I knew that I wanted to, you know, add a little bit of, you know, whatever to the map as well. So I've got like a gazebo, and I've got like an archway for it to go over. So again, this was a kind of testing ground for me to apply, you know, some of these lessons and see if I could, again, replicate what I was seeing. And I thought it would be fun to see something like that on stream so that people could see that even if something looks like you're never going to be able to copy it. I'm certainly not super artistic, but I've been learning enough of the tool where I feel like I can kind of take what other knowledge is imparted to me and kind of extrapolate from there. So we're going to take a look at the treetop village that I'm building. Nowhere near as good as Master Melf's. But again, I've taken some of the lessons that they've put together in their own map, and we've kind of done our own thing with it to extend it a little bit. So we've got in our map, we've got the elevator kind of stuff that's going on. Again, we're doing these lifts. We've got those gazebos that we saw before. Because they are so much further down and everything. What we're very likely going to do is we'll highlight these, make sure that we're not grabbing the big trees or anything. And we might apply a bigger blur to it. Right now, there's a tiny little blur. Because it's so far down, we might do a little bit more. Same thing with the archway and stuff like that. We will eventually go to the forest lighting texture. We'll activate that. It's just that right now there's empty space up here. So we need to kind of fix where that is and everything before we affect that, because right now it's going to look kind of ugly. And we might change the size of it a little bit, because right now at 30 it would really be affecting what's up here on top of the Treetop Village entrance. But if we dial it back to something like 15, 10, it'll look more like the leaves from around here. So we'll have to kind of figure out what that's going to end up looking like. Let's we'll undo this so that we're not seeing those various pieces. And then the last bit that I have to do, I didn't want to have the map completely done by the time we were going to put everything together. We need to make it so that this piece of the map ends up folding into whatever way we're going to continue this. I'm not going to continue it off the left or right sides, because down here it might continue a little bit, but as far as the Treetop Village itself, doesn't really make a lot of sense to go over to the left or the right, because good chance it's not going to be able to sustain in that way, where you've got like the Treetop Village up here. It would just be a little sliver, and that would be kind of a waste. But we will have kind of a south to north orientation where things are going. We've got this big tree that's kind of like our anchor point, so there will be additional, walkways that are going up around it. So let's kind of move forward with that, I guess. Let's take our tables first, I guess. Let's lock this tree, and that way we can grab all these tables at once. I got one more. So let's get rid of the walkways, because we're going to use them to get to the next point, but we don't want to move them or copy them while we're working on this stuff. Same thing with this tree here. And I think, is that everything? Yep. All right, so that's everything there. So we're going to grab all these guys, and they are supposed to be underneath everything else. So right now everything is looking pretty good. And I kind of like the way that they're there's a zigzagging overlap of sorts. So we'll do that. I don't want it to be just completely passing over here. So what we'll do is we might get rid of... Is this a table here that we're... No, we're not. We're going to end up screwing that up. So let's grab... What am I missing? I think I got it there. So we're losing that little table right there. And this one here kind of needs to stay, because there needs to be some kind of spot, but you'll notice there's not going to be one there. And what we'll do from here is grab some more of these trees. I don't even think that tree was there on purpose. I think that was just by nature kind of there by mistake. So I'm happy with where that is layer wise, because it's underneath this tree but over top of the walkway. Actually, that one feels like it should have been on top too. So for some reason it didn't end up there. That's perfectly fine, because again, that gives kind of texture and depth and stuff like that. So we'll just kind of layer that a little bit differently. And my buddy Kev gave me an idea. There's a lot of components from the other guy's map. You can see, again, I wanted to kind of take what he had and kind of extrapolate from it and do something that was completely different. And I wanted to add on that. So one of the things that we did was add some, these are little like landing pads for griffins. Tellest has enough representation when it comes to like various creatures and everything like that we have, you know, griffin riders and stuff like that. So I thought it would be fun to put these little landing pads there, and then these little haystacks for the griffins to lay on when they land. And he had a good idea to have like a stables for the griffins. So what we'll do is on the left side, we'll kind of extend something over here for a stable. It doesn't really make too much sense on the right side because we have much less space. In fact, what we'll do is we'll move some of our stuff over there and make that our little staging area for some of this. I don't really even think that we need these things anymore, so we're going to delete those out. Oh, I lost a tree. And let's keep on squishing over to here. I think the reason that I couldn't grab that was it was locked. So we've got the wooden mechanism. So we're going to get rid of that, and we're going to keep on moving up here. Just so that we have a little bit more room underneath the tree itself. But what we'll do is, down here you can see we used like a little wooden walk, or a little stone walkway with some decorations. And what we'll do is something similar to that there. So where is our giant tree that we locked down? Why do I not see it? I'm so confused. Oh, because I'm grabbing the lines. Don't mind me. All right. I still have to get used to the new tools. So what we're going to do is hide some of these and bring them back up. And this way I can kind of make those, I don't even know, what is it? Rocky flower wall, I guess. So we'll do that. So we're going to say down here is a little bit safer, so we're just going to put the wall here. So we're still going to use the pen, I think, because it makes things a little bit cleaner. I definitely don't want it to be 100. 30 should be good, I think. Yeah, that looks fine. And let's do... And we're just going to go all the way across. And I imagine that when you're kind of looking at this area, that... Oop, so there's a little trickery that we have to mess with there. The layer has to be higher than those wooden shamrock tables. Down here, probably going to need to make that adjustment as well. There we go. I'm kind of imagining like when you're visiting this city and you're here at the edge of this and you're kind of looking at the tree, that there's a lot going on. It's not just a tree that's hanging out there. It's, you know, there's a lot of culture here that people are partaking in. You're not even going to see most of this, but I know it's there, and that's what's important. Okay, we've got that bit, we've got this bit. Yeah, maybe we'll do like an autumn variant or something like that. If we do an autumn variant or something along those lines, maybe we can see some of the stuff kind of piercing through. All right. So it's only 29 changes, but let's save just to make sure that the changes that we did make aren't lost. I don't think that we're going to wrap everything up today. It'll probably be just a quick episode, and then maybe what we'll do is, I don't see any world in which I'm going to have energy tomorrow after work. So this might be something that, again, I do a little bit of work off stream, and then we look at it real quick before we begin any of the real work on Tuesday's stream. Let me see what we're actually going to be doing on Tuesday. Maybe I could give a little preview. So we've got the Graveyard Fissure that we just finished. We got the Treetop Village. I don't want to make another mess and then have to save on stream. So let's go back one and we'll take a look. The next one that we're going to be doing next week is a sequel to our dojo map. So we've got the little entrance to the dojo that we had here, and then we're doing a couple of other things. I was thinking of kind of a little bit of Ghost of Tsushima, a little of Assassin's Creed Valhalla with like the standing stones and everything like that, and a little bit of Avatar: The Last Airbender, as long as I can make some serviceable cabbages. So let's call it. We'll have a nice quick show today, and then we'll head right back into it next week, see how much work I do off stream. Usually I'm trying to move forward with some of the other maps that I've been working on instead of completing the maps off of stream, just so that we can see some of the last bits wrap up. So let's head to our show closing screen. So on the screen right now, you should see all the places that you can find Tellest out there on the internet. Tellest.com is your one-stop shop to see all the other projects. We usually put them on the sidebars and things like that. We have a couple of places where you can find our premium goods out on the internet. Patreon.com/Tellest and Tellest.Etsy.com are the places that you can find our premium digital and physical goods. Patreon has our battle maps every week in various forms. We have our point of interest documents, and then typically it looks like on Wednesdays now we're going to have a map a week that drops in free versions, high res, gridded and gridless, and variants. And then Etsy is where you can get our bookmarks, our stickers, our posters, our art book, our tabletop game, Rihanna's magic wands. You can see more of those also on TikTok.com/@WeirdWitchWands, where she puts together her little video packages of the wands when she's done with them. And you can also see our doggies on TikTok.com/@TalesOfTellest. You'll notice that on Tuesdays and Wednesdays I usually don't have too many tantrums going on, but on Mondays Luna is up here making a nuisance of herself. The last two places that you want to check out are youtube.com/@WorldOfTellest. That is where you're going to be able to see these videos long after Twitch purges them from their platform, after the requisite amount of time passes. But if you do want to see us on the night that we are streaming, twitch.tv/ThatTellestGuy is the only way to do that. So make sure you come hang out with us and chat on Tuesdays and Wednesdays when we do this show. And that'll wrap us up for today. I appreciate you stopping by or catching us later, and I miss you.